One of the biggest recruiting weekends in basketball history for West Virginia is about to go down. We're going to break down two four-star players and one five-star players. Ross Hodge is aiming for the stars, man.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, where we're diving into the basketball scene today, talking about some recruits that are going to absolutely change life in Morgantown if they so choose to come to this school and university that we all love so much. This episode, though, before we get started, going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, today's episode, you can bet $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download the FanDuel app today to get started. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being an everyday listener around here, what we love to call the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. All right, guys. So as I said earlier, Ross Hodge is aiming for the daggone moon. For the moon. And not only is he aiming, he's succeeding. These players are going to be on campus. And I just got to be honest, man. This is what we're talking about when I was saying earlier this week that Ross Hodge is crushing it, because he hasn't even coached a game yet. So let's dive into who it is that is going to be coming to Morgantown. We'll take it one at a time. We have to start with five-star prospect Miles Sadler. And there's a reason for that. It's because he's the best of the bunch, obviously. So let me get over to, let's see. Let me get to his page. I guess we'll just go to his X page really quick. But point guard Miles Sadler, one of the top players in the country, will be on an official visit to West Virginia this weekend, October 24th through the 26th. Ross Hodge and his staff are contenders to land a special talent who has produced at every stage of his career, including 14.1 points per game, 2.7 rebounds per game, almost 6 rebounds per game, a 1.2 or 1 to 2 turnover ratio. That's 2.3 steals on a very efficient 49% field goal percentage upon his return from injury, and will end in the Nike IVL this summer. He has been on quite the tear for Bella Vista Academy to start the season, and with elite quickness, feet, and feel, and dexterity as a playmaker, this floor general is a can't-miss prospect who would be the highest-rated recruit in West Virginia history, per the 247 release sports database via Edgar Corbett. So, guys, this is truly one of the most exciting prospects in the history of West Virginia. Does it mean that he's going to commit? No, I don't think anybody's saying that. Nobody's saying he's for sure going to commit. But we're in the running here. I've spoke to a few people close to the situation that says, listen, there's a real interest. West Virginia and Ross Hodge and company have really piqued his interest due to several factors. But notwithstanding is the ability for Ross Hodge to get the most out of smaller guards. And five-star Miles Sadler is a smaller guard at 5'11", at least at this point in his life. Maybe he grows a little more. But, Honor Huff this year, I'm sure he'll be watching him very closely to see what kind of production you get out of a player like Honor Huff. So let's get to the breakdown. But before we do, actually, you know what? Let's introduce the other two players. Then I'll break them all three down, and then we'll watch all three tape. We're going to try to do this as quickly as possible. The second guy I want you to know about is, it gets me as just about as excited, if you're going to me to be totally honest, and that's Jaydn Jenkins. Jaydn Jenkins is a 6'10" center / forward out of Archbishop Wood, and this kid is an absolutely incredible shot blocker, one of the very best in college, or no, not college basketball, but high school basketball, and is a kid that, I mean, he's lanky for sure. Like it says here, the lanky fly swatter is one of the higher upside defensive prospects in the class, according to Ari Rosenfeld. And he's been getting a huge push here lately. As you see, he'll be here as well October 25th during the Miles Sadler visit. So this is another guy that West Virginia is going to have on campus this weekend, guys. This is not just big, it's major, because we haven't had coaches go after players like this ever, really, right? John Beeline recruited, because of the way you had to recruit back then, 2 and 3 star guys to develop them over 3 years. Bob Huggins, yes, you did get the occasional Shebway. Yes, you did get the occasional whoever. But for the most part, it was, obviously 2 and 3 star guys like Javon Carter that you bring in. And by the time they're a senior, yeah, they're a 5-star player. Can't do that now. And the portal has opened up a lot of high school spots for teams like West Virginia to get players they probably wouldn't have been able to get 10 years ago, right? Because there's less competition because teams fill up with more portal players now. So Jaydn Jenkins is probably one of those guys, as well as is one of my favorite guys that I've watched tape on today, and somebody that I really enjoy watching is Caleb Lundy. 6'4", 170 pounds, teammate of Jaydn Jenkins at Archbishop Wood. And is somebody that I really think is very gifted kid. And he's got a long way to go as far as he's still going to get better. But he's also going to be here this weekend on an unofficial visit this weekend. So 3 big-time prospects, 3 big-time players that West Virginia is very lucky to have on campus. He's also rated 4 stars depending on where you look. So Ross Hodge, man, what can you say for Ross Hodge except that he's absolutely shooting for the moon right now? Let's go back to the breakdowns now. We'll go to Miles Sadler first. So Sadler is obviously the most impressive of the bunch, and for good reason, although he is a year ahead. Still, 5 stars, a 5-star is a 5-star. Most of the time they're can't miss prospects for a reason. So my breakdown on Miles Sadler is this from the tape that I've watched. He is a 3-level player. He's a sniper. He can really get into the lane, and he can distribute the hell out of the ball, guys. This guy's got eyes on the side, back of his head. He's got Kyrie Irving-esque type handles for a high school player. Now, by the time he's in the pros, if he gets there, will they be as good as Kyrie's? I don't know about that. But he's got a comparable handle to Kyrie that had in high school. It's similar. He's got an extremely high IQ, and he's got relentless defensive pressure on the ball. I think he's got NBA upside, but there's no doubt about it. And if he can add some strength in college, he will be absolutely an unstoppable player for West Virginia and Ross Hodge. There are some scouts that say he's the best point guard in high school basketball. Extraordinarily dangerous off the dribble. Excellent vision and manipulation as a pick-and-roll passer. Another scout said he's a sniper from 3, could turn into one of the best 3-point shooters in all college basketball. Another scout said he's got a natural confidence and flair, an elite basketball IQ, elevates a program immediately in college and will be an immediate day one starter wherever he goes. He's a consensus top 35 2026 prospect, guys, despite his 5'11" size. If he's 6'4", he's the number 1 prospect in the class or close. He's that good. I gave him a hard edge meter score. Scoring is 10 out of 10. Defense is 9 out of 10. Floor general is 10 out of 10. Athleticism is 9 out of 10. And IQ and motor, I gave 11 out of 10. I've never given that score. This is the most impressive prospect I've ever watched for West Virginia that's had a chance to go to West Virginia. Not ever, but as far as the West Virginia's had a chance at, it's not close. This is the most complete player we've ever had a chance at. Syracuse, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Iowa, Cal, Duke, North Carolina, Arizona State, Texas. Everybody wants this kid. He's got 30 or 40 D1 offers. So a lot of people are going to assume we don't have a chance because of that. But I'm telling you right now, West Virginia's in this running. Now, I don't know if we're going to get him. We're in the running. I think we'll finish in the top 5 for this kid. Maybe we'll get him, So Jaydn Jenkins, center, 2027, 6'10", 210 pounds, Archbishop Wood, Catholic. This is another one. He's already a 4-star rated player, top 30. He's definitely going to be a 5-spot center. The number 1 player in Pennsylvania will be when he comes out for sure. If depending on where you look, he's 14 to 16 points a game, 10 plus rebounds, and 4 to 5 blocks a game. Right now is what he's averaging. In the AAU team final, he had 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks, guys. This is by far one of the best defensive players I've ever watched on tape. But guys, the level, I'm trying not to get too excited. The level of player that Ross Hodge is attempting to get here is truly mind-boggling. Just haven't seen West Virginia coaches reach out for these type of players ever in our history. Just doesn't happen. Even Oscar Tshiebwe had limitations as a high-end 4-star, 5-star guy. This is an elite rim protector with 7'2" wingspan. He's switchable on defense. He can actually guard smaller guards. He's explosive with a really high vertical, which is why he gets all these blocks. He's offensively really raw. He doesn't have a lot of offensive threat to him, but he's a lob threat, and he's got an emerging mid-game. So he needs a lot of strength on his frame, probably a 2-year project in high school unless he really just gets big quick. Because he could go right to the league if he had enough size, but he's really skinny, as you'll see. I've given this one a hard edge score of 45 out of 50. His scoring is 8 out of 10. Defense is 10 out of 10. Rebounding is 9 out of 10. Athleticism, 9 out of 10. Motor and IQ, 9 out of 10. West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Mississippi. I mean, everybody wants him. West Virginia's in the running. And then lastly, real quick, before we go to break, we'll do Caleb Lundy, who is a 6'4", 170-pound point guard out of Archbishop Wood as well, the teammate of Jaydn Jenkins, who we just talked about. He is a 4-star, 88 scored composite, and a 94 on the 247 Sports site. He's a top 100 player, top 10 point guard in America, ranked top 5 player in Pennsylvania, along with his teammate. He is right now, as a sophomore, averaging 13 points a game, 7 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, and 1 block per game. Got my tongue twisted there. Stat stuffing. Like, he's that kind of dude, right? Stuffs the stat sheet. That's kind of hard to say. 26 points a game in the AAU New Heights, New York, the New Heights, New York AAU run they just had. 26 points a game in a Final Four run and shot 40% from 3, guys. So he is a very poised player. He's got elite size for his age, especially right now. Also a 3-level scorer, extremely crafty handle, really strong in the pick and roll, and hit several clutch shots during that tournament. I watched 3 separate game buzzer type beater, whether it was at the end of the half, end of quarter, or end of game. Very disruptive on defense, really gets and bothers people in the lane with his length. And his first step is the only thing that you could say that he needs to get better at. Once he develops an elite, first step, which he will as he gets a little older here, he's going to be impossible to guard. He's got a consistent 3-point shot, and he's going to be a very good Power 5 basketball player and double-digit scorer for sure, and probably all-league type defender. He's that kind of player. He's emerging, I think, more so than anything. And I've given him a hard edge score of 44 out of 50. Scoring is a 9 out of 10. Defense is an 8 out of 10. Floor general, 8 out of 10. Athleticism, 9 out of 10. And motor and IQ, I gave him 10 out of 10. The couple games that I watched, he's diving on the floor. He's in people's faces the entire game. He's exactly the kind of guy that Coach Hodge wants in the program. So we're very lucky to have these guys on campus this weekend. But what do they look like on tape? That's what you want to know, isn't it? We're going to find out next on this episode of Locked On West Virginia. You don't want to miss this. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Kuo, guys. And Kuo is one of those spots that, if you didn't know, they changed their name from OpenPhone. One of the tools that help make a huge difference for business owners is Kuo, formerly OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system you heard me talk about before. It just got a new name, right? And here's why that matters. Every missed call is money left on the table, whether you want a customer that has a conversation you want to talk about. Well, every customer conversation counts. You need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. It's the number one phone business system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, and there's no more carrying two phones or relying on a landline. I love how Kuo, formerly known as OpenPhone, lets your team share one number and collaborate on calls and text like a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. You can also see why 90,000 customers and businesses trust Kuo, formerly known as OpenPhone. Get started for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at kuo.com/lockedoncollege. That's QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And you can even keep your existing number for free. Kuo, no missed calls, no missed customers. And of course, our friends at FanDuel say hello. Guys, right now, new customers can bet just $5. That'll make you holla. And you can get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's if you win that first $5 bet. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Like I said, it makes watching football even more exciting when you got a little something riding on the action. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com today to download the FanDuel app, and you too can get started. Segment 2. Let's crack a Diet Dew and jump straight into the next topic, guys. All right, so I got to tell you, I'm excited about this, man. I can't wait for basketball season to start, but I also can't wait to see how Hodge builds this. If he's able to get these kind of recruits in, we're going to turn into a top 5 team in the conference, which, as we know, is really difficult to do. And I'm talking about year in, year out. You bring in these kind of players, you're absolutely going to be a top 5 team in the conference. Now, are you going to lose some of these guys? Yeah, you are. But, I mean, if you're good in basketball and you get to at least, Elite 8, Sweet 16s, people will pay and all that, so you can continue to bring these guys in. But let's check out Miles Sadler first. I think he's the one everybody's interested in. And so we're going to watch a couple different clips of the 5-star. We start here. This is him with the ball in his hands at point. There's a lob from half court. Another lob. And that's what he does, guys. He is a floor general. He passes it a lot, but he can score, and he's also really good in the passing lane, as you can see here. And really smooth up and under. There's that mid-range jump shot, and we'll watch that one more time. Just a little hesitation. Got the guy, he's so quick to the rim that whenever he takes off, guys start running towards the rim, right, to try to stop him. So when he stops on a dime, that guy keeps going, right? Whoop. And as you can see, he didn't leave his feet. And just a really, really careful, just boop. And here he is with the handles, guys. Another lob. Another lob. So you can see what kind of player he is. He's just constantly making people better. Look at that pass. Nice Euro step. That's got to, and here's the thing. I heard James Harden say this. In today's day and age, if you don't have a Euro step in your game, you're behind. You're behind. As a player coming up into today's basketball, when I was growing up, when a lot of you were growing up, the Euro step wasn't used very often. It is today. What is a Euro step? It's this right here. It's when you take the steps that you have to shoot a layup, and you step around somebody in this Euro fashion. Manu Ginobili kind of got it popularized, if you'll remember. And it's a way to avoid charges. It's also a way to be crafty at the rim. And it just looks really smooth when you do it. Remember, you have a gather step and 2 steps for the most part. And so that's how he's able to use this. And he only used his 2 steps anyway. If you'll pay attention, it was 1, 2. 1, 2. Very beautiful. As you can see, he loves to go left. Watch him initiate contact. Oh, no, he didn't. I thought he was going to. Looked like he was about to hesitate into this defender here, but he didn't. Anyways, I mean, you can see how quick he is off the dribble. That left hand is so that it's under control so much. Most guys don't control the ball with the level that this kid does. Way too easy for a kid that good. What a pass. What a pass. There he is shooting the 3 where he shoots at a high clip. And, man, he loves to go with his left. As you can see, guys, he's a blur in the open floor. This would change our life. I mean, if we get him, we're going to have to pay him. I do think he's worth it. I know some people don't agree with that. They think you should play before you get paid. That's just not the reality. Other universities are paying these high school kids, and basketball is much easier to project than football from high school. Most people knew Dante Moore was going to be good, and he is good this year for Oregon, right? There are cases where you can, but in basketball, it's a lot easier to project up than football for whatever reason. But watch this kid here, as you can see, a blur in the open floor. Insane. What a pass. Just incredible. What a spin. Whew. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that has you like, man. And here's the thing. He's 5'11", 5'10". But the way he plays, I don't think it's going to matter too much because of this elite. He can do anything. There's nothing he can't do. The guy reaches in, he takes a spin. And, I mean, that's a smooth, athletic spin. You know how hard that is to do? That's that smooth. Jeez, man. So that's Miles Sadler, 5 stars. We got to have him, man. We got to have him. All right, let's check out Jaydn Jenkins next, and I've got his Instagram pulled up for that. Not sure which one to watch because I went on YouTube and just watched a couple videos. Let's see. Let's start with this one here. There's the big guy there. He is number 11 if you pay attention. It's not really a great camera angle, though. Let's go back one. Let's go to maybe. Now you get a better. Big kid, enormous kid. Now look at him. Look how big he is, guys. Look how big he is. I mean, it's insane, right? 7'2" wingspan, and you can see every bit of it. He's barely off the floor here, and he's at the rim. These are the kind of bigs that don't come around very often. You got to sign this kid, no matter what. Wow, very smooth underneath there, though, I'll be honest, on the pump fake. And that's where he's got to get better, they say, obviously. I mean, that's a nice play, but I want to see a couple blocks because that's what he does. Block, rebound. Yeah, this would change our life. It would change our life because to have an elite shot blocker like this kid's going to come out immediately and be one of the best shot blockers in the country. Most likely with his length and timing that you only saw one there. But like I said, he had 6 blocks in a game against some of the best players in the country. There he is again, putting stuff back up. He doesn't have to jump very far. That's for sure. Is there any more? Let's see. Yeah. Oh, nice dunk by him. For those of you listening, he's on a fast break and a really beautiful dunk. So a lot of these are just one clip. Um, I think this might be him in AAU ball. Wait a second. Who is this? Who is this right here? Is he playing with? No, I'm not trying to be funny here. Is he playing with guys and girls, or is that a guy? I have no clue, to be honest. I think that's a girl. I have no clue. I'm gonna get off that subject. Somebody tell me. Good Lord. That's when I'll get myself in trouble trying to figure that out. It's illegal. Listen, it's legal in some states. You get people who are trans to play. So I mean, I'm not going to make any comments on that now. But I just took me off guard. I wasn't expecting the 6'10" guy to be playing with potentially a girl, or maybe it's a young kid that has a baby face. I just couldn't tell. Anyways, that's a nice player for West Virginia. I think this is one where, you got to have it. Like, that's just one you got to have. You got to figure it out, guys. If you're whoever you are behind the scenes for West Virginia, fork it over, because that's unfortunately how you're going to get him probably. Maybe Ross Hodge wins these kids over. That's great too if you can. All right, let's go to break. What we'll do on the other side is check out this other kid, Caleb Lundy, another big-time player for West Virginia potentially, next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Mazda. When it comes to Mazda, I got to be honest here. Mazda delivered confidence with every ride, with more HS top safety picks than anyone else as of August 2025. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. And like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. You can do it today with Mazda, where they can move and be moved. All right. Thank you so much for joining in, guys, as we dive into this last player, somebody that I am excited about as well. He's not last because he's least. He's just the youngest, I think. Maybe he's the same age as the other guy, but I just showed him in the order I had him. Doesn't mean he's any better or worse, and I mean that with all my heart. So this is Caleb Lundy. Let's listen to him talk here.
Hi, my name is Caleb Lundy. I'm class of 2027. I attend Archbishop Wood High School in Warminster, Pennsylvania. It feels great to win the MVP because
I forgot the music playing. I'm glad I stopped it. It's unfortunate. I didn't want to. He won the MVP. Well, that's good. At least we got that.
Archbishop.
Oh, same video. Okay. Well, yeah, here's some play. So you'll see he's very similar to he's similar to Sadler in that he's a floor general. He's got great crafty handles. He can go left or right. He can cross somebody up. You'll see. Beautiful crossover. And then you see him use the elbow there. Just a little chicken wing. Pump fake. Fade away. Very under control, right? I mean, he's not panicking at all here, right? You're using your jump stop. Now you're using your pivot foot. You're pump faking. You got the guy off his feet so you can turn around and then go up for your fade. And what a beautiful shot it was. Nice behind the back pass. What a crossover there. So he's got the left to right crossover going. And it's a low crossover, so it's not like it's above the knees necessarily. And at 6'4", that's difficult. It's going to have to get better for high school or for college, but in high school, he's melting dudes with this. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous pull-up J from the mid-range, guys. That's what you love to see. Dribbling right, pulling up is not easy for right-handed players compared to dribbling with your left hand and pulling up. Why? Because your set hand is your left hand. So when you already got it in your left hand, you just got to bring that right hand up and then just flick it off the wrist. When you're dribbling from your right, you've got to set your feet, then go. At least I always did. And he just got that down to a science. You got the crossover, you got the dribble, 1, 2, and look at the form. I mean, you know how hard that is to do, guys? I know it looks easy, but it's not as easy as it looks. Beautifully, shoots a beautiful shot. Crossover again. He loves that crossover. Oh, very smooth. He's really good at getting a little bit of space whenever he has to. Like right here. He kind of gets off balance a little bit. And watch him, just take a little space out this way. Just a little small jump step. And he's got that pump fake rolling, man. If you look at his shot off the dribble here, very beautiful. He's got that thing in one hand basically right there from then on. That's a one hand. That's what my shot looks like. It almost looks like my left hand's not even on it. Yeah, nice shot. This kid's very smooth as well. By the time he's a senior next year, he's probably going to be close to having another star on his name. He's that talented. You can just tell. I love this player. I like him almost as much as Sadler. He's got everything that you want, and he can do all the things Sadler can do at just almost as high a level, right? So let's see what he looks like next year as he develops. But certainly another huge prospect for West Virginia, and one that I would welcome in, obviously, with open arms. But as you can see, this is a huge weekend for the Mountaineers in basketball. Obviously, we've got a lot going on. We've got the ball in at the Woodburn. We've got the exhibition game versus Wheeling University on ESPN Plus on Sunday. So we're going to get to see our boys in person and see what they look like. I'm excited about it. Hopefully you are too. And let's see what happens with these recruits as well. They're going to be a part of all this. Can Ross Hodge pull some major recruits? Any one of these guys is a huge W, but any two of these guys is program changing. I think a lot of you would agree. Whether it's the teammates from Archbishop Wood or Sadler alone, program changing. Actually, Sadler alone, program changing. And any combination of them are, it's like, holy cow. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try to stay in touch with people involved with all three of these, and I'll keep you guys up to date on them behind the scenes, what's going on. I'm going to make it my mission to, because this is big. This is definitely going to be big. And like Raven said, can't wait to see how Eagle Staff and Huff duo. I can't either. And here's the thing. Guys like Sadler, guys like Jenkins, guys like Lundy are watching to see what these guys look like this year, right? Sadler, 5'10", 5'11" point guard. What's Honor Huff going to look like this year? What's Amir Jenkins going to look like this year? That's what I'm going to look like in that system. And so you can tell a guy like Sadler or a guy like Lundy, hey, look, this guy's 5'11" and he averaged 18 points a game in my system. You can do 25 because you're this good that, whatever you want to say to him, but whatever you believe. And I think that's the recruiting pitch, right? Playing time. We're going to recruit. We're going to build through high school. We want you to be a foundational corner piece of what we have moving forward. And then we're going to bring in really good players around you from the portal to support that. And I think that's our best way forward. If Ross Hodge can pull this off, it would be an amazing feat, guys. Before you even play a game, like we haven't even played a game yet, and we've got these types of recruits. Typically, that just doesn't happen. And I get it. It's a lot to do with you have to forgive my name, my forgetfulness, but I know his last name's Ali. It may be Yustaf, but the new coach that he just hired last week, he's got a lot of connections, and I'm curious to see if these are what that is, but we'll see. But yeah, cool episode, cool basketball episode. We'll do a football one here in just a little bit. But until then, guys, you have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you in a bit. Until then, don't forget to cue them country roads.